Growing up, we learn a lot about unconditional love. We ultimately want to find somebody that unconditionally loves us. They love us without conditions. However, you don't hear a lot of people talking about unconditionally loving yourself. And when you think about that, is so important to learn how to love yourself unconditionally. Right now, so many people are suffering. They are suffering in the mind and they are suffering in the body. So what I want to teach is how to start loving yourself unconditionally. Now, what does that look like? Loving yourself unconditionally is loving your mind at the state of what it is right now. Loving the anxious mind, the depressed mind, the stressed out mind, the lonely mind, the overwhelmed mind. And how do you do this? The same way you love somebody else unconditionally. You accept them the way that they are. So if you want to love yourself unconditionally, you have to stop judging the mind. You must stop criticizing the mind, because the only reason why the mind experiences anxious thoughts, depressed thoughts, why the mind causes you pain is because the mind has been through trauma. You know, you can meet somebody and they're really rude, they cut you off, and you're like taken aback by it, and yeah, I don't like this person, and this person is off, this person is mean, or we have all these judgments and these mean things that we say about that person. And then you find out that person's story. You find out the trauma that that person went through, the painful experiences, the terrible things that people did to that person. You start to grow more compassion for them and less hatred for them when you understand the story. You get why they are the way that they are. I want you to treat your mind the same way. If your mind has been abused, if your mind has experienced trauma, it is going to abuse you. That's why you are experiencing anxiety and depression and painful thoughts and emotions. There is nothing wrong with you. It's just the mind's been abused. And because of that, maybe we can take it a little easier on the mind and loving the mind at the state that it is right now. Accepting how we are right now and no longer criticizing feeling the way that we feel. Because right now, your mind is doing exactly what it was programmed to do. If you don't like your particular programming of your mind right now, let's change it. Let's rewrite the software of our brains. The reason why the healing journey can be so difficult is because you are transitioning right now. And anytime there's any type of change or transition, there's going to be that sense of uncertainty, that sense of unknowing. And the mind was created to help you survive. And if the mind picks up on something that could possibly cause pain to you, it's going to release thoughts and emotions to convince you to stop doing that thing. That is just how the mind works. So if you're out there doing your affirmations, or you are putting yourself out there and you're trying to trust people more and be more vulnerable, your mind is going to tell you, don't do it. You can get hurt, because that's just the nature of the mind. And if you understand, oh, that's just how the mind works, it's okay. Let those thoughts come up, but continue doing what you need to do. When you decide to start the healing journey, there will be an upheaval in your life, because your mind and your body is always listening to you. It's always taking direction from you. And when you say to yourself, I am ready to start this journey, your mind will then give you opportunities to weaken these old dated outdated belief systems. These belief systems that I am not enough, I do not deserve love, I am unworthy. You are going to have experiences come into your life that will give you the opportunity to finally weaken that belief system. And you do that by not giving it attention or focus. When those moments in your life happen where you feel less than, where you get anxious, where you feel depressed or a victim or lonely or frustrated or worried or whatever it is that you feel that you don't want, that you don't like, you cannot give it more energy. You cannot give it more attention. You have to let it just run through your body. That is how you weaken those old belief systems, those belief systems that do not align with your highest self. When you let it just run through your body, you are letting the mind and the body know that this is not you anymore. You are letting these belief systems go. This is why you will experience that upheaval in your life, is because you are going to be given a lot of opportunities to finally let these belief systems go. Look at the healing journey like a game. When you make the announcement you're ready for the healing journey, you're ready to build the super you, when those moments happen, those painful moments, you can start looking at it like, yes, it's working. This is an opportunity. Start attaching positive energy towards those things that you used to fall apart about, that you used to get lost in, that you used to believe. Start attaching positive energy, and you do that by attaching gratitude. When that moment happens, and I know that sounds crazy, when you start to have those painful thoughts arise, whatever the thought is, it doesn't matter. Attach gratitude to those thoughts and say to yourself, I am getting an opportunity to let these old beliefs go. This is not me. I release this energy within me. I release these dated belief systems, these belief systems that I got from the adults that I grew up around. This is not me anymore. That is how you weaken these limiting beliefs that you no longer want. If you are on the healing journey, you might find yourself becoming ultra sensitive. It's the mind and the body giving you an opportunity to weaken those old belief systems and strengthen the belief systems that you want, the belief systems that align with your highest self. A lot of times people get really frustrated on the healing journey because they find themselves more irritable, more angry, more annoyed. This is the body giving you that opportunity to grow, to evolve, to build the super version of you, to weaken those old belief systems and create belief systems that align with how you really want to be. So when these moments happen, be grateful and say to yourself, yes, this is an opportunity. And I understand the first few times it may not be easy, but we are building muscles, you guys. And the more you practice something, the stronger you become. Your mental health is the same. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes. Use these moments for your benefit so that they don't use you, so they don't put you back into that negative state. And understand that the healing journey is giving you an opportunity for growth, for evolution, for peace, for joy, for your patience. All of these things that are happening in your life that you do not want, that you do not like, if you can attach gratitude towards it, you will weaken those belief systems. One of the greatest forms of self-love is forgiveness. And I know a lot of people say to me, how do I forgive this person? They've done this to me, they've done that to me, it's impossible. But what I tell people is that forgiveness has nothing to do with the other person. In fact, you don't even ever have to talk to that person ever again. Forgiveness is about taking back control over your mental health, control over your emotional health. Because right now, if you hold resentment, if you hold anger inside of you, that person or what that person did to you is now controlling you. And if you no longer want anybody to control you, if you want to gain your power back, you must forgive. And a way to forgive is, let's say you start thinking about what that person does and you have those anger emotions start to arise. This is the moment to weaken that belief. When you start to feel angry, I want you to say to yourself, anger no longer aligns with me. This emotion is not mine. I want you to become that person. I've become that person where when I have those emotions that I don't want, that I don't like, when I'm annoyed or irritated or whatever it is, I say to myself, if I even say it out loud, I say, this emotion does not align with me any longer. I release this energy. This is reprogramming the mind. This is reprogramming the body. This is letting the system know who you are right now. This is breaking down those old belief systems that no longer align with your highest self. That is what forgiveness is about. That is the freedom that forgiveness holds within you. It's letting go of that anger. It's letting go of that resentment, because anger cannot be compartmentalized. You cannot hold your anger emotion to that one person. It will come out to somebody around you, and most likely it's somebody that you love and doesn't deserve it. So this is how you love yourself unconditionally. This is what self-love is. It's forgiving the people that have caused you pain in the past. Your mind is always taking notes on how you are. And if you start to feel anger emotions arise and you act on that anger, your mind is taking notes. This is who we are. If you start to feel those emotions of, I'll never be in a healthy relationship, people always take advantage of me, I can't trust anybody. If you start getting lost in those thoughts and emotions, your mind is taking notes. It is learning from you. So when you start to get lost in those thoughts and those emotions, or when you start to criticize those thoughts or judge those thoughts, your mind is taking those notes. Oh, we judge ourselves. We are critical of ourselves. We are not enough. You are building that particular muscle. When you give it attention, when you give it energy, that's the muscle that you are building. Instead of giving it attention, let it just run through you and keep it moving. Don't continue that emotional loop. That is a cycle, and that's a painful cycle that we need to break now. And we break it by creating those new belief systems, by saying those affirmations to ourselves in our brain. You say it out loud, and the greatest time to say your affirmations is when you are in a heightened state, when you are feeling joyous, when you are feeling peaceful, when you are happy. I often say to people, when you succumb to your painful thoughts and your emotions like anger, for example, you are strengthening that particular muscle. Your mind is taking notes of, this is how we are. This is how we will continue to be. Got it. And it may not be very easy for people to just let their anger rush through and not act on that anger. So I totally understand. The same thing with anxiety. If you are having a full-blown anxiety attack, it's very difficult to not get lost in those thoughts and emotions. So I completely understand if you have certain episodes and you just get lost in those emotions. And so what I want you to do is to practice with your other painful thoughts and emotions. I often call your belief systems like muscles, and the more focus, attention, and energy that you give to a particular muscle, the stronger it's going to be. And so if you have certain thoughts and emotions that you don't want, that you don't like anymore, we have to weaken that muscle. But if you are having a hard time with your anxiety and with your depression, and it's hard for you just to let it run through you, start with lighter weights. When you go to the gym for the first time and you haven't worked out in a year, are you gonna bench press 200? No, you're gonna hurt yourself. So when you get into the gym, you start with those light, 5-pound dumbbells. You build up that muscle and you work up to that muscle so you can do 100 pounds. Do the same thing with your mental health. Let's start with lighter weights, like when somebody annoys you or somebody is honking unreasonably behind you, or you invite a friend to a dinner party and they show up really late. So you start to have those irritable emotions arise. Weaken those beliefs, weaken those muscles because they're easier for you to handle. And when you get to a point where you can laugh at your annoyance, then you move on to heavier weights. You move on to emotions that are slightly more painful. This is such great training for your mind because your mind is learning, oh, this is how we handle when we're annoyed. We laugh at the situation. So your mind's gonna tell you, laugh at the annoyance when it happens later on. This is a computer program. This is how you program the mind to be more loving and supportive of your mental health. And so you start to work on more and more emotions that you are really attached to, but you can just build up to it. And it's such a fun thing to experience because you will look back eventually and say, wow, the old me would have wanted to punch a wall, and now I'm just laughing at this because you know that you are programming it. All the people that cause you pain in your life, they're technically giving you an opportunity to program your mind to be more loving. And if you can start to switch your perspective that way, that is where your power is. That is how you create balance in your system, where nobody can rock you, where nobody can shift your energy, where nobody can determine how you think and how you feel. When I say the term self-love, a lot of people associate that with self-care. It's getting a massage, getting your nails done, getting your hair done, maybe going on a vacation. Doing these things for yourself is great and extremely important. But the issue is that it's temporary, and once it's over, then you're gonna go back to your chaotic life, and those thoughts and emotions are going to arise again, and then you're just gonna be waiting for your next vacation. If you no longer want to always feel like you have to take a break from your life, and you want to have more sustaining balance, sustaining joy, sustaining peace in your life, then just like you need a break, your mind needs a break as well. You have so much going on in a day between work, spouse, kids, planning. There are so many things that you go through in a given day. The mind gets overwhelmed. This is why you can experience your anxiety, your depression, your frustration, and feeling overwhelmed. The greatest self-love that you can give to your mind is learning how to quiet the mind. Quieting the mind builds sustaining balance in your system. It builds balance in your mental health. It builds balance in your emotional health. It builds balance in your physical health, and it builds balance in your energetic health. The greatest way to quiet the mind is just to sit in silence. Just sit for 3 minutes. You can put on some meditation music. You can do it in silence, whatever it is. Give me 3 minutes. That's all I ask. Sit down, close your eyes, and give me 3 minutes. Focus on your breath, breathing in your nose, breathing out your nose. One technique that I do when I'm focusing on my breath is trying to breathe as slowly as I can out of my nose and as slowly as I can as I am inhaling. That is how I keep focus on it. And it's okay if your thoughts start rattling, if your thoughts say, this is stupid, don't listen to Megan, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Oh, you gotta go pick up Sam from baseball, or whatever it is that your brain is saying. That's okay. Let the mind do the crazy. That's what the mind's gonna do right now. That's how the mind has been trained to be right now. It's okay. We're not judging it. We're not criticizing it. We're not trying to shut it up. We're not trying to control it. We are just letting the mind know it's okay. You can have thoughts, but I am going to sit here. I'm going to sit here and focus on my breath. This is giving love to the mind. This is programming the mind to be more loving, more peaceful. Just give me 3 minutes a day. That's all I am asking. And when you get to a point where you can sit longer, add it to 5 minutes, to 10 minutes. But let's just start with 3. You just sit down, you close your eyes, and you just breathe. I know it doesn't sound like it's doing anything, but trust me, your brain is changing just by doing that. 3 minutes. That's all you gotta do. Thank you all for listening in. I hope some of this information was useful for you. If you know anybody that could use this, please send it to them. If you have any questions, I answer all of my questions in the comment section. And so please like, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.